Hello, so today we're going to be going over the Pythagorean Theorem. Now let's first start off by defining the theorem. The theorem states that the square of the hypotenuse of a right triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of the two other sides. So actually this theorem is pretty useful because we can use it to find the length of the unknown sides in a right triangle. Let's examine how this equation relates to our triangle. So we always use c to represent our hypotenuse. Now, this is actually pretty easy to find because the hypotenuse is always going to be the longest side in our triangle. We use A and B to represent our legs of the triangle. Now, remember, the legs are going to be adjacent to our right angle, which is represented by the box. So remember, we can only use this theorem for right triangles. In this example, we are asked to find the length of the hypotenuse. Whenever I begin a problem, I always write down what I know and what I want to know. So we know the lengths of the legs. Let's set A equal to 6 and B equal to 8. Finally, we want to know the length of the hypotenuse. This will be C. Next, we will write down our equation. We will then solve for the variable that we are looking for. In this case, we are looking for C. All we have to do to find C is to simply square each side. This will give us C is equal to the square root of A squared plus B squared. Finally, we will just plug in our values and solve from there. So we have C is equal to the square root of 6 squared plus 8 squared. C is equal to the square root of 36 plus 64. C is equal to the square root of 100. And we know that the square root of 100 is 10. So this is what C is equal to, which is the length of our hypotenuse. Let's do another example. In this example, we're asked to find the length of side A. We know the length of side B, and we know the length of the hypotenuse. In this case, we know that side B is equal to 13, and our hypotenuse is equal to 15. We want to find out the length of A. Next, we will write down our equation, and we will solve for the variable that we want to find. We want to find what A is equal to. So after writing down our equation, we will simply isolate our A. We will subtract B squared from each side. This will leave us with A squared is equal to C squared minus B squared. After this, all we have to do is take the square root of each side. This will leave us with A is equal to the square root of C squared minus B squared. Now, all we have to do is simply plug in our variables and solve from there. A is equal to the square root of 15 squared minus 13 squared. Now all we have to do is simplify. A is equal to the square root of 225 squared minus 169. We are left with A is equal to the square root of 56. Now, the square root of 56 does not give us a nice clean number, so for the purposes of this video, I'm going to round the answer to the 10th. And our answer is 7.5. And that is the length of side A. So I hope this tutorial served as a nice introduction to the Pythagorean theorem. To review, let's remember what the Pythagorean theorem states. The Pythagorean theorem states that c squared is equal to the sum of a squared plus b squared. Finally, I would like to remind you that this theorem can only be used for right triangles. Take care.